And we're back live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Here we are again, brought to you by ERT Radio. Go to mixler.com/ERT Radio, ERRT Radio. Just take about a minute. It takes maybe a minute. I got to put your email in there, kind of set a username. Also, set up an account so you can listen to some of the music lineup he has, as well as supporting this show, Into the Outer Realms, Dimensions of the Supernatural with Maureen, and more as he adds them, the music lineups, his own shows as he drives around town, trying not to hit things while he's talking. Just go support our sponsor, ERT Radio. That's like, share, subscribe, do all that, do all that wonderful little tap, send those emojis up on the screen. It helps us out. But tonight is kind of a free-for-all. We're going to be talking just a little bit everything, like the Peruvian alien mummy. Is it real? Is it fake? Is that a Hobby Lobby craft project that he's pawning off to the Mexican government? We're going to find out. So for anybody that's watching video, you caught that little thing. If you're just listening, hey, that's why you got to watch us. So we've got a special guest from WTFrick Live Podcast. Hence what the name of the show, WTF, is happening tonight. Emily is with us. She's going to let her talk about her show, what's going on, what's coming up there, stuff she's got going on, as well as just her take on that topic, plus many more that we'll just kind of discuss tonight. So everybody sit back, look forward to everybody's thoughts. Like I said, this is going to be one of those kind of loose and, just good old fashioned fun broadcasts. So everybody sit back. We will see you after this. Welcome to the Three Beards Podcast. My name is Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is why you justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right, Bryan, you're here. Chris is still in phone lockdown mode, so he is a prime example for everybody. It doesn't matter if you have Android, Apple. There's a little thing. Have this little black book or something that you write passwords in, and you lock it in a safe, and you have it to where if you ever have to access some important passwords like this, because he forgot them and he messed around with an Apple product for too long, and guess what? It lockies you clean out of your device, and you can't access it until the gods of Apple let you back in.
100%.
So
we wish Chris the best, and hopefully he'll get his phone up and everything will be well.
So, to step in, I guess, she graciously, jumped in at the last minute, and, fortunate for her, she does not have a beard. So Emily, how are you? You're muted. There you go.
I shave it off is what I do.
Yeah, that's like I said. I
am in Kentucky, so
I still have it. There you go.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay. Yes, so welcome everybody. We got Laura's there, M.A. Allen, Charles. So let's know. King is here as well. Well, thank everybody for showing up here. But yeah, that's one of the things too. For anybody, Facebook sometimes you'll get a lag, you'll get some stuff like that. So we really encourage people to switch over to also to check it out on YouTube on the stream, because that seems to be a much better, clearer thing too. So, but
I want to
man,
thank Emily for coming in and just
yes,
into the, I was going to say like the Thunderdome, but it's really like the beard, like scratchy, hairy dome. But I'm going to ask Emily. I think I have a great idea for a show, Emily.
Okay.
I think we should have Craig's wife on, and it should be called Ask Craig's Wife.
oh, she won't ever do that.
won't?
No, she
audio only.
no, it would be that would be. Let me just put. There is a better chance of me interviewing Bigfoot than ever getting her on there for an interview. She's that, that would just be mental trauma. Can
we get her to call in at least, and then we'll
no. Let's say, I mean, I could ask. Let me say, I'll just ask, but I can't.
She could call in and be a totally different name, and we'd never know.
Yeah. You could pretend, like do the pretending thing, like at night with you and her when she pretends to be Princess Leia. We can do the same thing.
She's Princess Leia. At least you saved me and said, while you pretend to be Luke. At least you saved me from that.
Yeah. Well, that would have been really weird.
What's really weird is nowadays when you have to sit down with your kid and you have to explain what's wrong with Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. It's so wrong.
And then what's really bad is when you get to Return of the Jedi and she says a line, somehow I always knew.
Then why'd you kiss?
That's what makes it.
About it.
That's what makes it even worse. That's what makes it even worse is when she goes, you know what? You're my sister. I know. Somehow I always knew. And you're like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Was it too much drugs with John Belushi that you didn't kind of get
Space Hillbillies?
All blame goes to John Belushi, no matter what.
No, see, like
the Hotel Marmont or whatever. What is it called out in California? Marmont.
Oh yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hotel California will never be the same for me. That song.
What, Laura? You didn't know that about Luke and Leia in the movies? I mean, that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like you have to explain to kids because kids pick up right away on it. And they're like, "Wait a minute!" And my niece, she did when she was watching it for the first time. She's like, "Wait a minute." Oh, she clued right in on the brother and sister thing.
I even noticed. I'm 42. I didn't think about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't paying attention to that at that time. Laura, tell me if I'm sounding better. Whoever said I don't sound well, or they can.
Yeah, it was Laura that said she can barely hear you. Like Emily, does she talk? She does. I'm this way with her all the time. So I'll say stuff like talking about these, and she's just like, I get the eye roll. She's, I'm used to. Hey, whenever she, different name. Yeah. Whenever she really goes too much, I said, just remember, you said yes.
Well, I mean, like, is there anything like where she said like, something was really difficult, you knew it wasn't that bad? You said it's gonna be like shooting womp rats at Beggar's Canyon. And she just looks at you and like, get away from me now.
Yes, yeah. When you say some really stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so low, Laura.
There should be a T-shirt, Craig. You should be making that.
Womp rats in Beggar's Canyon.
Oh my God! Yes. So we'll go the first one here. Like I teased it here. So I'm going to bring up a picture for anybody that doesn't know the story yet.
Sorry, MA. We didn't know you were in the car. you before we go into the story yet, do you want to discuss that we may be doing a special shows with live calls?
Yeah, we tested it right before we went on air. And just to see if it's going to work, and then what we'll do is we'll have, just so we don't end up with 17,000 messages, like inflating my success here. Yeah, right. So we don't end up with all these just random drunk dial sessions from somebody that just we're not going to publish the number, but what it'll be is just when we actually can go live, what we'll do is we'll just tell you guys, DM us if you would like to come on and ask a question or something like that, and then we'll send the number to you.
Yep. and then you got to call it, and we'll get you on the.
I think you should just do a show that just you publish the number and just go off the whim of dial-ins, because that would be a blast.
Yeah, well, we got to get a number that isn't like one of his personal numbers.
Get a Google number.
That's what I think. That's what we'll have to do, because it's just if we go with his number right now, his wife is going to throw him out of the house. Yeah.
No. I'm used to it anyhow. I mean, I do have a Google number, and I've got a Skype number.
His number, but for a good time. He's in the bathroom. Phone number. Call
Gonna start, blowing into.
For a good time, call Bryan.
Just put it between your legs. I'll just.
Sir Bryan. We know what that name means, Sir Bryan.
Your knight in shining armor.
So this is right. Oh God, I got to find a bigger picture than this. But this is right up, right up King's, alley, because this is taken right here into Mexico. Yeah. Yes. So right here, let me see. So we don't have dead air. It just makes noises. All right. Gentleman walks into the bar carrying a weird sculpture and claims So this gentleman, I'm trying not to say too many names just because I don't want this whole cease and desist thing, like slandering somebody on the air. Somebody shows up and with this and says that he's discovered in a Peruvian mine 2 mummified bodies, and unless, of course, there was some volcanic eruption that turned these aliens into a Pompeii figure, there is nothing about this that even remotely, to me, looks like this used to be an organic
Do you mean
entity.
Pompeii, like paper mache? Because that's what I've.
Well, like Pompeii, because you see like the figures from Pompeii, where they're covered like in the ash, and so they're not really. They're not really.
Mache. It's
that's what it looked. It looks like it could even be almost like a metal thing that was coated in like this the dust.
I got to be honest. It kind of looks like a tray leche cake. And I was like looking for a slice of cake or like tiramisu that they put in a box. That's what it looks like.
I think it's paper mache, and then they sprinkled some dirt over top of it just to make it look more real. Actually, it kind of looks like a skeleton key. It's a skeleton key, everybody. It's the key to some kind of tomb or Egyptian pyramid that we need. Like this is going to be.
It also like when they opened them up on live, it kind of felt like. You picked the wrong. You should have went with the envelope instead of door number 2.
Are you talking like this kind of cake?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Ooh, I'll have some in the head. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did somebody really make that cake? Is that cake real? Okay.
Yeah. Somebody made that cake. For like I said to do. But that's it looks like it's freeze dried. Yeah. It really does. See, because that's the main thing. Like I was wanting to talk about, because this blew up. I shared it on the podcast because everybody's talking about this. Finally, we have proof of an EBE. Here is this creature that's been mummified, and we've done X-rays, and we can see that it has eggs inside it, and they put these X-rays and stuff in it. But even if you look at the X-rays, even the stuff like supposedly shows up on the shoulders, they would actually almost be sticking outside of the current body. That's the alleged body. I mean, honestly, this looks like something that was. Well, even if we just say it's real, I don't think it's a real alien. I think this might be something that one of the cultures made, and it got buried, and then they dug it up, and it looks like an alien. So it would be a sculpture or something. I go, but
pottery.
Yeah, it
was carbon dated, and it is legit. It's weird, but it's legit.
Who carbon dates though? Like who tells us?
Carbon dating these days really isn't a valid source because they've changed. It just doesn't. If it was, what, a couple hundred years, 1800s, this was found or something like that, or I forgot what.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the body. Like, if it ever needed like firewood, does it just like lean up against the tree and just kind of rub its rib cage up and down? You know, like those sawtooth.
I'm looking at it, it's like it's my ex-husband that needs some water. That's what I'm looking at it as. Like
little dehydrated.
This like there's I don't know. This is all to me fake. And the guy behind it he's known for fake like having fake UFO stuff and all that stuff. And Sir Bryan, do I call you Sir Bryan?
No, you call me whatever you want.
Bryan,
he's a sir because he's a knight.
More about that guy than I do, but I just
he's a legitimate. I mean, believe it or not, he is a legitimate UFO researcher out of Mexico.
But a lot of the stuff he presents is fake, right?
Not really,
or has been debunked.
They try to debunk it, but he's if you want to capture his track record, he's probably on the high 80s. Everybody can't be 100%, but there's a lot of stuff that comes out of Mexico and then Peru and all that, you know, he goes into all of it. So, I mean, I have no problems with him. I mean, he's better than some of these other people that are just like, you know, like what's his name from Bullshit 182, the UFO guy, Tom DeLonge.
Blink.
You could grow GSC, you don't see it's on that thing.
Bullshit 182, because that guy's the Lee Harvey Oswald of the UFO community. But these are real. I mean,
I didn't think this would go back to JFK tonight.
Well,
possibly.
All
roads lead to JFK.
Well, RFK was Jr. was almost attempted assassination. Wow. I don't know. If I was a candidate, I wouldn't leave the damn house.
But Biden's not allowing him to have any kind of security or any kind of Secret Service with him either. First time ever in history.
He sounds like Katharine Hepburn when he speaks. You know?
His throat, he has that disease that...
No, I know. It's larynx, but he does sound like Katharine Hepburn. It's really weird. But I don't mind him. Steve Forbes, that guy's a pedophile. Okay, going back to the cake.
And there's our first cease and desist for the night.
Yeah. Christopher Note homosexual hangouts. Okay.
Say it.
Now, you know what? I mean,
Alan, that's true. You know, Bezos is going to jump right on that. You can buy a pack of 3 of those for $29.99. You know, next day delivery.
Amazon Prime, get your own cake mold. Yeah, I'm already getting a damn. I'm a little bit off tonight, but it's not what you wanted. You know, everybody wanted like ET, like you know, that kind of crap.
ET being interviewed. The government
is legit.
Many moons ago. When was that?
That was before.
It was there.
Well, some of them are after 2000, and some of them before.
Well, it was super dark. I remember the background, and I see an alien like what we would picture an alien with the eyes and everything. They're interviewing this alien, which is all fakery to me. It looks like a Stanley Kubrick move, in my opinion. With that, but
some of it. Yeah, we got a lot of whistleblowers these days, so everybody wants something. But I mean, I got sent a video, text message video, boom, and it's from South America. And there's a large gray. Big difference between a large and tall gray is they're larger. They're taller. The small grays are like 3 feet.
The biggest difference between the large and the small ones are one's bigger and one's smaller.
What do we call this? What do we call this thing that was? Is this a small gray?
I don't know. I mean, it definitely there are species of aliens that look very similar to it, and what I think you're seeing is an alien who's, when alive, their body would have been rounder and fuller.
But it looks like a gray had sex with a lamprey eel. I mean, that big old sucker face on the front. I mean, come on.
It looks like a rack of ribs.
Yeah, well, that's why I was stopped. Like the jacket. I mean, it's like it could cut down a tree, just leans up against it and saws itself back and forth. And
that'd be great. Coming down over the Golden Corral, get your alien ribs.
Yeah, well, you know, because when you hear mummy, I mean, honestly, anytime you ever hear the like mummy, this is one from from Mexico, you know, Central American area. Like this was a mummy. That's what you expect to see.
Right.
But this one, just the part for me, it's like, okay, even though it's going to be smaller, but these look like thin little sticks. It doesn't look like there's anything preserved, like like this one, like tissues or anything.
But I have so many questions.
Mhm.
Because, like, doesn't bone dissolve over time? Like, dinosaurs in the ground.
It eventually becomes almost rock based, or it's fossilized. So it gets hard as a rock, and then it can trip away or become dust because right.
So
depends on where it's found.
Well, we got people buried all the time. Like, am I going to open up grandma's grave and see grandma like this, and she's been buried for 25 years? Like, what?
She would probably be real close.
I'm not expert in this.
Close to that.
No, she'd probably be close to like this, because as you dry out, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, but then we got dinosaur bones people are digging up that are millions of years old, so they say, and their bones are still intact. It doesn't make sense to me.
Because it's all based on calcium and the chemical makeup of the bone and how thick it is. I mean, it gets into really big anthropology. We don't
and how they're buried too. I mean, if T-Rex is just walking around and then all of a sudden falls over dead, he's going to decay, deteriorate, and most of that stuff's going to. But a lot of this stuff was through material like mudslides, whatever, rolls over, buries them down, and so the organic stuff breaks down, but there's no oxygen to decompose and to basically destroy the bone. The bone is actually then it's caked in over the pressure, and it just kind of locks it.
And you get also petroleum, which enhances
now, right? When we get buried 6 feet under, there's no oxygen.
No, but
there's still a gap in bacteria. Yeah.
Right. So this is why, like, if you go into some of the bogs over in the UK, they have these bodies that are perfectly preserved. They're more leathery with their flesh on it, because the outside material in the bog, between the gases and the chemical reaction, it really mummifies it perfectly. It protects it. This is why some people get embalmed. Some people, if you're drinking anything with Corona, you're getting embalmed, because it's the same. A lot of
Corona beer.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there that is
not
like
coronavirus.
No.
The
original Corona. Damn it. One with the lime, and you put it in the. There's certain things that you can do with bodies that will preserve them. Now the problem is, where you are in South America, you have a lot of volcanic activity, so there's going to be heat there, so things are going to shrink. Think of a shrinky dink. If anybody remembers shrinky dinks, like this plastic. Okay, so it's a plastic thing. You draw on it, put it in your oven, and then it shrinks down to a smaller size. Same thing. Okay, this creature was probably a lot thicker, had some meat on its bones, maybe even gases within, because if it's anything like a traditional gray, which is an extraterrestrial biological entity, which is basically a clone for the most part, the way they consume is through their skin. So their pores are on the skin is how they get their nutrition. They don't eat it through the mouth. They all have a mouth, they have ears, they have noses, but whatever happened to it between the heat and the sun and the material or minerals within the earth, it shrunk that thing.
I pity the fool that doesn't buy my shrinky dink.
There you go. Shrinky dink's great. It's basically a piece of plastic, and then they sell blank ones now. You can draw whatever you want on it. Like, you can put the Three Beards logo on it and make keychains.
Mr. T Shrinky Dink.
You own it, Jazz. Hannibal.
Yeah, you trace it, you color it, you cut it, you bake it. If you don't, I'll pity you. There we go. Mr. T Shrinky Dink. Yeah, I found it. Yes.
I don't know. I think these aliens in Mexico are fake.
Well, I mean, King comes. Put King's comment up.
How many other artifacts have we found over all these decades that possibly have shrunk too?
Again, depends on the location.
That's King. That I do agree with. It's one of those things. If this was preserved like this should not be exposed to open air like it is. That would be like rule number one. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like when things are excavated, they take them and then they bring them into where because you don't want something that's been buried to suddenly be exposed to humidity, any type of moisture, because it's going to start rapid, breakdown. So that is a mistake. If this is legit,
but you don't.
That was a big mistake.
Put on top of the skin to preserve it. I mean, we don't. First of all, we really don't know how long ago they've gotten it, what was done to it. I mean, it's like the Shroud of Turin, right? So that was coded to protect the shroud.
I don't even believe in that anymore.
As long as you believe in God, you'll be fine.
I mean, I do have a personal relationship with Jesus and everything. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. But the thing is that I don't even believe in that anymore from all the research I've done under the CIA and the FBI and all these documents that I've gone in and read. Like I think
I'm a big believer that Da Vinci, it was an amazing creation by Da Vinci.
I can
agree with that.
Because because a lot of the stuff, you remember, like these things, especially the early church. I mean, you really think that there's thousands of artifacts of, St. Peter, that every church is going around with a tooth? No, most likely that was Bob the villager that they just knocked a tooth out of. They put it inside a little gold chalice and, went around showing everybody St. Peter's teeth, and everybody is worshiping it, but this one, Da Vinci, what a better way to ingratiate yourself to a church that looks at you as a heretic and wants to, off you anyway. Then you come up with an amazing, the shroud that covered Jesus in the tomb, and all of a sudden, you got the church eaten out of your hand again.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe they have artifacts that are legit, that will never see the light of day.
Oh yeah,
like the spear of destiny, and maybe the crown of thorns.
Hey, if you believe the documentary Constantine, it's wrapped on a Nazi flag outside of Mexico City somewhere. The Spear of Destiny.
What's the measurement? What's the measurement that they use? Something Renaissance to measure magnetic waves through the earth. Something Renaissance. Anybody know?
Oh, the resonance.
Resonance. I say resonance.
It's I know what you're talking
about. It's not Schumer's
yeah, it is.
Schumann is it's part of that, but Schumann resonance is 7.25 hertz, which is the heartbeat of the earth. It's the sound the earth.
Right, it's the heartbeat of the earth. Now, I will say this with the shroud is that I do believe God can use anything for His benefit. All right. So there was this thing that went through not too long ago, and I have it on my Facebook. I can bring it up and share it to you here, Craig, here in a little bit. But but there was a pattern in this resonance thing, the measurement of the heartbeat of the earth, that looked really weird, and it's never happened before, and all this stuff. And I kept looking at it. I'm like, man, that looks like the shroud, the heartbeat.
Are you talking about the recent one that happened like a month ago? It was real crazy.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me look it up on my Facebook.
Oh yeah, and Charles, that's another one too. The splinters of the cross. If you put those together, you could probably build another ark.
Probably.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something funny about the ark here in Kentucky? Because the Noah's Ark here in Kentucky, right? So the guy that built Noah's Ark, you know what his last name is?
No.
Ham, and that's one of Noah's son. That was Noah's son that was cursed, was Ham, and
Really?
he's actually building a replica of the Tower of Babel too. Isn't that weird?
Wow, he needs a hobby, or a girlfriend, one of the two.
But no, but isn't that just weird how stuff?
I shared a Schumann screen there, Craig. If you want to,
hold on, I'm sending you the picture, and then I'll send.
Is that the one right there? The crazy one.
I just sent him a picture with the shroud on Facebook.
I'm gonna back out of this one.
I think that's it, though.
Yeah, actually, I think it's the same one. Yeah, it's just you have a.
I put the shroud underneath it.
Yeah, you have that
shroud underneath it. Let's see the shroud. Share that screen.
Yeah, share. Yeah.
Move that bus. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, show host, show that screen.
Oh my God! Thank you all for helping us.
All right, let's see if I can zoom in here.
Someone in here. Here's what it was saying on.
Go to the tab and keep zooming in on that tab. Don't do it over here.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna fix it here. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got it. I got it here. It's for some reason it's what you. Yeah, when I clicked it, it's not wanting to.
They did find the real Noah's Ark.
Yeah, they found Mount Sinai too, and they found all kinds of different things. They found the what's his face, there's all kinds of stuff being found that's confirming biblical scripture. But there we go.
There we go.
Ignore the links up here. Nobody would pay attention to that.
I'm not paying.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, because if you do look at it,
it's similar, not all the way, but I saw somebody on what got me interested in this, and I put these pictures together is because on TikTok I was watching, and this is my post on Facebook. I watched a video of someone talking about this waves, and it's like possibly somebody breaking through the firmament or power enough to break through the firmament. I'm like, who has power enough to break through the firmament? It would be God, Jesus, or whatever. So then I was like, this looks familiar. This looks familiar. I went to Bible college. I have a bachelor's, master's in Christian education, minor in theology. I'm like, I've seen this before. And then I looked up Jesus and waves. That's what I looked it up. And this Shroud of Turin came up, and Turin. I say Turin. I'm Appalachia. Turin. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like that. In my opinion, not all the way, it's not exact, but it's similar.
No, but you can definitely see it. I mean, that's definitely not crazy. No, I went to seminary school for a year too, and now I'm agnostic.
Everybody has their own path.
Yeah. It's one of those. Some get their degrees in it. Other ones are like, what the, I'm out.
I went to non-denominational. So we learned a lot of different belief patterns in things. We weren't.
And then what you brought up, like I said, I'll bring that up to show people too, is that because you talked about the Kentucky Ark. There it is right there.
Yeah. I think his name's Kim Ham. His last name's Ham. He's actually getting ready to build the replica of the Tower of Babel, which comes from the lineage of Ham. So it's super interesting how all this is played out.
Well, I mean, don't they charge admission to go through the Ark?
Yeah.
And do you have to bring so if it's like you're going, do you have to bring like someone who's female if you're male? And then
I mean, that Thompson's water seal to protect that thing isn't free, sir.
That's what we
there's no God's protection on this Ark. Let's present deterioration. It's like Thompson's water seal that sucker, it's gonna start
let me just say
termite central.
It lasted some tornadoes through Kentucky. So
yeah. Well, there's some good nails. Yeah,
I'll tell you that there's a lot more, and I like it personally. I'm a spiritual person, I'm an ordained minister. But I love the fact that more and more people are waking up and praying these days and seeing these things. But I don't want them to be deceived on it. But it's very interesting.
Well, that's why I think aliens are something totally different.
I do not.
I think they're fallen angels.
I don't believe they're angels, and I don't believe they're Nephilim.
Fallen.
I don't know if they're fallen angels because I just don't. I believe. I mean, there's too many people that have information where they're coming from either interdimensionally to other.
That's what they are. They're interdimensional.
Well, there's interdimensional. There's ultradimensional. There's a whole variety of them, but I don't fall into. I don't put that religious right into all this stuff personally.
You see where Alan said, put the new Tower of Babel there on Epstein Island.
Well, Epstein Island, that little blue and white building, they all call like a ritual thing. I went down a rabbit hole. That was actually a bathhouse. But if you know anything about bathhouses back in the day and what they do in bathhouses, that would make a lot more sense than just some kind of Greek. And it didn't come from the Greece too, by the way.
If you know what Noah did to his sons, you wouldn't get on the boat.
Well, Ham's the one that saw him. What was it? Ham, the one that saw him naked, drunk, naked. I think it was Ham, wasn't
it? I don't know the full details of it, but I throughout history.
Let me tell you this: anybody that says people are crazy, well, if anybody says somebody's crazy, I'm going with them at this point in life. Like, from what I know about the Bible, from what I've seen in recent times here, if anybody says that person's crazy, I'm going.
This is how it all fills in, though. We're at a point where if you've read Revelations, I mean,
we're having Revelations come out to play this week on September 18th with the star alignment, the astrology, and all that.
That is actually really, really cool, and I'm surprised that most people aren't paying attention to that, because the Virgin and then Yeshua coming in with the child. I mean,
but people are blowing off and not seeing that it happened before in 2017, but there was no child or Yeshua involved. This time, Yeshua and the child is involved. So, I mean, I think this is, yeah. And then we have all this stuff going on over with the G6 or G7 summit and the UN and all this kind of stuff going on at the time. And the UN, I don't know if anybody knows about this, but they have a seat that no one has ever sat in it. And it's supposedly the seat of the Antichrist. I don't know. I haven't gone down that research.
Well, you can't say nobody's never sat in it.
Did you sit in it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you really?
Now okay, everybody. Remember from a few shows back when Mr. reached up to the sky and made his little thing as he came down, the ascending triangle towards his head. Did anybody see? It's all making sense.
I sat in it. I got asked to get out of the chair eventually, but I sat.
I want to throw this out there.
Because they told him it wasn't time yet. We're not set to reveal. Get out of that chair.
Hold on, I don't have a job. And I applied for 10 UN positions today and yesterday. Total.
Really?
So if you have a UN connection, please put me in there.
You don't want to work for the UN. I work for the UN. You don't want to work. Well, International Monetary Fund and World Bank.
Oh, I don't want to work for the World Bank.
If you want to know what evil is
in HR,
if you want to know what evil is, it's right there in Manhattan.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's just.
And their address is 666, isn't it?
I don't remember the address. I just, it's really weird when you live in an area and you know how to get to it. You just don't pay attention unless you're going. Like you have to find your new address. But the UN's an interesting place. I got kicked out because when they were doing some kind of meeting, I was playing around with the translation equipment. So they have a microphone, I have headphones that plug into it, and then you can dial in, whatever the translation is coming in when they talk. So if someone's speaking in French and you speak Farsi, you can dial in and it'll be translated from French to Farsi. And I was just sitting there because I was bored. I was just going, "Come in, we can't hear you." And I just got a bad look, and they told me to leave that day. So yeah, I was in the General Assembly room getting yelled at. Yeah,
I'll have to trying to do like a quick thing, but I haven't found anything yet about that empty chair.
3rd Avenue, New York.
Yeah,
10017.
Let me tell you something. When you go in the UN, they pick up foil, literally foil and gum, and they will have you empty your pockets and they'll scan you. Nothing metallic is coming into that place without them knowing what it is.
It's interesting that all these UN and 2-letter, 3-letter facilities to use blue as
into that.
If we want to, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow.
Please, let's get into this because I've been waiting.
The Maui thing.
I mean, this hour's gone by so fast so far.
I know, isn't it? I know it goes by. It's awesome.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into
the blue beam, if nanometers, and if you convert it over, it is a 666 too.
Yes,
so that's why
I will show you the chart right now if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into the chart. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna share the chart with you.
We're going in the chart, people. We're going to the chart.
Yes, here it is. We're getting the damn chart in.
Now what I want to do right now is I want to show you on this here pie chart right here. We're gonna do right here pie chart. Ross Perot was fantastic for me.
You're not really taking it.
Yeah.
So this is.
He loved his pie charts,
and I'm just shared it with you right now. And if we go looking down at what the frequency of blue is, it is.
You shared nothing with me, sir. There it is.
6.66.
It is. So that's the wavelength. That's the nanometers, and then you convert it to the hertz and the frequency, which is what I've dealt with in paranormal field
Yep.
with EVP phenomenon and stuff. It is 666 hertz levels. So,
and, what's interesting is they do have lasers. There was a guy on Telegram who's like, "Oh, that laser stuff's all BS. Look, I got a laser, it burns through blah blah blah, whatever, plastic and wood, and it's blue laser and whatever." And what he's not understanding is there's a big difference between a consumer laser and a university-based laser, and what the military uses. And
freaking, there's a DEW site in Maui.
Yeah.
There's 2 sites, Maui and in New Mexico. Those are the 2 sites. There's one in Maui right there.
Yep, 100%.
And here's what's interesting to me. I ask all kinds of questions. It's like, okay, we've had all these wildfires. I'm in Kentucky. Wildfires.
Goddamn wildfires
going around. But this is the only one that is marking off for dust or whatever. Like it doesn't make sense to me. And this is the Great Reset, and history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. All this alien crap, all this UFO stuff, there's nothing new under the sun. And you go back to the Great Reset of 1810 to 1817 and research that stuff out. They're doing the exact same stuff then that they're doing now.
I don't want to say anything, but there's a picture on the screen right now.
I don't know about this.
Catching these things. No. There's farmers actually up near Craig's old haunts, northwest, and they had trail cameras and they caught it. Matter of fact, I can throw up a picture. We were in Florida, miles out, seeing lightning, and then I had one white beam that came down from the lightning.
Okay. Well, I think HARP and all this stuff plays a role in all this. So.
Oh, 100%.
I
mean, I got a great HARP video. They had one of the HARP units that go on the ocean. It's on a platform.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It looks like a big white balloon type thing.
White bulb.
They have like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, it's insane what it can do, and they have it charging up. So I'm gonna send it to myself and then see if I can bring it in.
I'm gonna bring it around town.
I'm gonna bring it around.
No, it's yeah. In my house says now do it like RFK. I can't do RFK. I can do a really bad Trump. I can do like I said, a really bad Ross Perot. So I could really butcher a few other ones, but like yep. No, she's gonna. We got a doggo emergency. Got to let the dog out.
You got a dog emergency?
No, Emily, she had to jump out real quick to let the dog out. No, one of the things too about, because I don't know if it's one of those things without being able to physically see it. I don't know what all is true, what is exactly, but they, videos have come out showing like blue umbrellas, blue car, different stuff like that. And it's one of those things you have to take it on because I haven't been there. But if that is true, like I said, it does lend, to that thing where it doesn't, because once again, why is there that blue roof initiative that they're going around like putting these things on people's roofs that are blue? And why are the celebrities like Oprah Winfrey and stuff? Why are they doing these things? I mean, just if that's the case, like I said, that would be, that'd be something to it. And like I said, there might be something to this. But like I said, without really knowing, I can't just go, it's a fact. I go, but it definitely looks damning. I can't say it's wrong or it's 100% for sure. But I go, it's one of those things. Eventually, where there's enough, where there's lots of smoke, there's pretty much a fire somewhere. I mean, it's just eventually you have to. I mean, it can be all circumstantial, but eventually there's enough to where even that starts adding up. You're like, yeah, we've got something here, and that's what's going on with Maui. I mean, why do you think that they're restricting, news from doing reporting? I mean, they're banning reporters from going up to city officials and actually talking to them. I mean, they're physically strong-arming people that are going up and demanding accountability from the mayor, from the police chief, from, they're going here, and nobody is wanting to actually hold these conversations. I mean, because one, I mean, as a political career, I mean, you don't want to take responsibility for the fact that you shut down. So yeah, I've actually when we went to Hawaii, we saw that.
Well, I don't know if it's going to come out of my I don't know why it's coming out of my machine, but that's it ramping up. Pretty interesting, right? And they're smaller now.
Well, it's one of those things too, and this is one like this is the devil's advocate side. It's like, you have to take it on faith that wasn't somebody altering the video to make it do this.
Yeah, but
because I've seen the structure, but just the actually seeing this stuff, you have to take it to somewhat of grain of salt and stuff, because that's the problem nowadays with all the technology. It is so easy to fake something. That 100%. Is, and that's one
AI,
of those.
AI, like you can't believe anything anybody talks anymore. Even like I have code words for my son in case AI calls him and says, "This is your mom. It's an emergency," or whatever. We got code words.
Yeah,
and everything. You can't believe anything you see. Period.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you talking about that. I wasn't going to get all the details for people. That's why I decided the dog had to be let outside.
Oh yeah. He's diabetic. He threw up. I'm sorry. I'm just go ahead. I heard him in there coughing. I was like, okay, here we go. He did throw up.
Poor thing. Yeah.
Feel bad.
He goes to the vet. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah, tomorrow. So I'll take him to a vet because he's not had a good week. I'm going to check his levels and make sure they're okay. He's probably going to be up on insulin.
You definitely got it. Yeah, my dog actually. I got gypped. So he had kidney failure, and that's you can't do anything about it. But diabetes, you got to take care of.
2 years in November. I spend $700 a month on medicine.
They love you.
He's perfect. Well, he's not in any pain or anything. Every once in a while, we have these things where he's nauseated and stuff. Just means that something needs to be like fixed.
No, I don't think Emily is AI. It's good that
it's Rod was like, he was like, maybe Emily's AI. He goes, I'm just kidding. I'm like,
I wish I was as smart as AI. Oh, Ron, ERRT. You say ERT? Is that what you say?
Yep. ERT radio.
Oh, you say ERRT.
It stands for Ertling Radio, right? But yeah, I mean, we do everything. Almost if you're a parent, every parent should. If you haven't done it, have some kind of code words with your kids, and you should probably have a safe word with your partner. But other than that, I think with AI, you can't even figure out.
Like our voices here, our voices here talking and all this kind of stuff. Like they can take our voices right now from this video and use it to manipulate your children or family. It
was funny you said about being part AI. Because this actually, on the Drudge Report, this is actually he's looking for people that are willing to volunteer.
I don't know why he's looking for that, because if you go on the NASA website, he's been using his chip since 2015 on our military.
Well, you have to make it legitimate now.
Yeah.
So the chip's been being used since 2015 on our military, our young kids, 18, 19 years old. That volunteer to go for that. It's all on the NASA website.
He purchased Twitter not because he wanted to have people tweet. He needed the information generated from Twitter to actually to pinpoint his AI technology. It responds to the interactions.
Well, his name, if you take EL, means God with lowercase g, like elites. EL, they're all part of the same game. So it means God, lowercase g. On means above, God above. So he's doing all this Mars stuff. He's doing all this stuff. Elites, L, God, lowercase g, ites of the people. Like they're all part of the same thing. And anything with an EL on it, elementary, all that kind of stuff is all part of the same spiritual warfare, demonic overlords. I don't know what you want to call it, but there's all kinds of demonic entities associated with this. And I honestly think, in my personal opinion, that Elon Musk actually is not his real name. And then if you look at his mother and the people he's married and go down that rabbit hole, it's a whole other rabbit hole. But I think that he ended up coming from South Africa because he actually killed a kid. This might get us knocked off everywhere. I don't know. But
allegedly,
allegedly, in my belief,
thank you very much for coming on, Emma. And
he got picked on. He got picked on. There's a complete history of him being picked on as a child, as a kid, and over time it was so bad. Like there had to be something catastrophic happen for him to leave because his parents kept him there over and over and over and over again. It just, I don't know. There's something that's not right with him. There's something not right.
There's a couple of videos that definitely make him look like he may be AI himself. I mean,
he might be.
Or you know, a lot of people talk about aliens and shape-shifting, usually reptilians, and they're like, well, you know, possibly.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I'm going to come right back to it. No, I was going to address M.A. Allen's thing. Yes, that is one of the things that is so alluring about this, and that's where it's that double-edged sword, where the benefits and the pros and cons of something. The cons are you can be hijacked, you can be hacked, you can be all this stuff. Basically you lose your autonomy and stuff. But just like the same thing, you now have that same possibility of where somebody, a stroke victim, can get this, and you can relearn how to talk. You can actually learn to communicate again. You think again, function where people weren't able to do that before. And that's one of the things that's so alluring about this, where even though it may seem scary, you could jump on. You could see why people would gladly volunteer for this.
Well, what was it in Ezekiel talks about AI? Right. I think in Bible prophecy talks about AI. But did you all see the AI robots at the NFL game? It was supposed to promote the
I don't know so much if it was a robot or if it was just
real. But that's the whole thing with AI, right? For us to question, is that really real people? Because they had no expressions. Like I watched so many videos and went to the games and watched them so many times. Like they had zero expression, period. Like I don't think I could do that, even being like the best actor I could possibly be or actress. I don't think I could do that.
Well, I don't think if it was AI, I don't think it's fully functional. I think it's kind of like a souped up Disney animatronic.
Yeah, but they still look super real in the face.
Yeah.
They're getting better with the silicone, but there's a couple of images of certain people that were public figures, and it clearly looks like they're wearing silicone masks. There's certain tears, and it just, I don't know if they can drop psychology, doing a psyop.
If they can psyop us, which I believe, and I have CIA documents if Craig wants to pull this up. But if they can psyop us with that, why can't they psyop us with aliens?
Oh, they're going to try. It's called Project Bluebeam, where they fake an alien attack, and then they fake the rapture, and they're the ones that are, the whole world comes together, one world government, and there's no more. It's one religion. Everybody believes in it. They follow it, and then they slowly kill people. That's what Project Bluebeam was. And I thought people would be like, you know what, that's a little bit too much. People would be wise enough to it. But if you see 8D, 9D holograms, it looks like there's real whales flying in your room. I mean, that's how real it is. There's feels to it. There's movement. You can see it's as if you're looking at it in an aquarium. But maybe
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, they got holograms of the Pope. Remember the Pope?
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. They used that. Maybe that's not.
But that's why it kind of just expanding upon some of the points you're making, Emily, is where, especially like with UFOs, we know what is historical. We know that the government has done stuff like MK Ultra. They've gone with these, and they're infinitely beyond what they reported. of mental, projects where they're actually for controlling, altering people's, what people's perceptions are. And so I pose this as a hypothesis, is what if a majority of the people that have come out with experiences like abductions and stuff like this isn't so much that there was ever a physical alien from outer space, from another dimension, but this was more of a military type thing, where there were actual military people, black ops people, that have taken somebody, but they've put this into they basically put these memories into their head, that they were taken by aliens,
Oh
that they were
yeah,
taken by this.
that's psychoelectric weaponry
Yeah, because
that they've been doing since the 40s. That is documented, but way sooner than that, probably in the 1800s.
Because if I told you, like, I was abducted by 3 guys in white coats and put into a van and taken to this building, or I came and told you that 3 grays took me into a spaceship, they flew me to, they took me to some far, planet, star, and brought me back. Which one is going to be a more believable story? You're going to
one that you believe the most, like whatever you tell me, like I'm going to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But yeah, and so if I told you that more people are likely to, oh, dude, it's one of those people that believes they're taken by aliens. Or if you have somebody like, these people abducted me, there's going to be more people that would actually believe possibly that the guys took me in a van is more of a believable story. So that's where that hypothesis is. This is something where, because we know MK Ultra and these other projects exist. These aren't fake. So it's more, and that's where I know Bryan loves this term, Occam's razor.
Oh, I fucking hate
that. It's just,
I don't know that term. I don't know that term. I need to write this down.
The easiest
explanation is more or most likely the actual correct answer. And that's, and it's one of those things. It's just because it doesn't take in, Occam's razor explanation doesn't take in nuance. It's basically, it's a blanket black and white.
So here's the problem. Okay. We were talking just before we went and you said, save it for the show. And you were talking and you were talking about the triangle UFOs. I can tell you straight up, and I'm going to, from my own personal research, you see a triangle black craft, it is US based. It is reverse engineered technology. Part of what they did reverse engineering is extraterrestrial biological entities, otherwise known as clones. People are being abducted for whatever purpose by the government using actual cloned small grays. And there's something about the small grays, the ones that can, when you're getting abducted, people are moving through solid mass, but the grays have an ability to tweak you so you can move through it as well. So I understand what you're saying. They don't need to make up the story. They're abducting them with gray aliens. And then the rest
that's the thing. There's the reports of like the gray aliens are an AI. They're basically like a drone, but that's just it. It was like with the whole Project Bluebeam. That's where these things, it would be just as easy to put all the stuff into your mind.
Sure.
And this is where I said, it's like, this doesn't take away from, let's say Bob, Bob comes and says, I had this abduction experience. What this doesn't take away from that, because what it is just like you said with the whales, you would not be able to differentiate between you were actually abducted or it was a fake abduction. You would still believe aliens took you through walls, showed you all the stuff. You would believe this completely.
Here's where it's weird. And I mean to interrupt, Emily. People who didn't believe in the phenomenon have been regressed. Okay. Not led to it, regressed. What is your first memory, second memory? And then they started freaking out. They've been abducted. And they've been abducted not only by aliens. I can introduce to you a guest. Hopefully he's still alive. A friend of mine out of the West Coast. He's been abducted by a variety of different extraterrestrials from different systems and different dimensions, as well as the United States government.
Well, I'm going to say this. This is just an accidental release. Microwave hearing is absolutely starred here because it goes into a whole other realm of 5G, which is coming out, all this kind of stuff. But this is some of the things that come out of of psychoelectric weapons that the government has been using since at least the 1940s. That's why they got afraid of freaking Russia and they went all out with Russia. But we got forced memory blanking and induced erroneous actions. We got reading and broadcasting thoughts, controlled dreams, forced waking visions, some synced with body motion, induced changes to hearing, both apparent, direct, volume. Like there's so much stuff. Like I have the artificial tendonitis. I have that daily. I have to use like white noise. In my bedroom, I have a white noise running all the time to get rid of my tendonitis. We have forced manipulation of airways, including externally controlled forced speech. We have forced movement of jaw and clacking. I have that personally. But there's so much stuff here that they manipulate through the dreams and through the visions that and this is just was accidentally released. This is not the stuff that went on and you know, the first unclassified successful transmission of the human voice directly into the skull, which is what's his face here over here talks about telepathy. And I have a guest coming on, Dr. Carissa. I can't remember her last name right now. I'm so sorry, but she's coming on in 2 weeks talking about voice to skull or the voice of God that's happening to people.
They're going to use that.
Well, they have used it. They've used it since the 40s.
I know that, but they publicly made a statement of that. Second Iraq War, they used it to get to all the Iraqi soldiers in the desert.
So,
they spoke to them in Arabic saying, "What are you doing?"
Honestly, I think that the Iraqi war, that is true what you're talking about that. But I think that all of this stuff, I think all this alien abductions, I think all this UFO sightings and stuff is the government manipulating the mind. It's a battlefield of the mind. And the Bible talks so much about the mind over and over and over again. Like it's forewarning us. And I think that they have manipulated it in many, many ways. And I honestly think they've manipulated it so much that it causes us to believe that these things are true. And they've been used as a distraction of what's really truly going on in the world.
Yeah, because I was like Bryan, just remember, this is like a hypothesis of mine. Because you brought up the point, like the whales. If you took somebody back, like 10 years from now, and you actually regressed them, they would and you asked them, where did you see whales flying in the sky? They would be able to detail where they were, what they were doing. They would have a physical memory of this, even though it didn't exist. Those whales were holograms, but in their memory, they would be able to detail whales floating above their heads. They'd be able to give all these details. And that was the hypothesis of it. It's like, it's not saying that these things aren't real. It's just saying that there is a really good chance that even if there was, let's just say 1% of all of them were actual, like an alien, visitor actually took somebody. What's more likely to happen is like, if they use this to like a broad thing, it's just, as we've been saying throughout the show, this would be a control factor. It would be easier to do all this stuff. And that's kind of where I pose it, is where I actually kind of was like, I'm kind of that thing with a hypothesis that I think there's a really good chance that a majority of the cases are probably a government mind job over an actual physical alien ship flew over, took them away, and they've gone someplace. More likely, you probably were walking down the street, you got hit, got thrown in the van. They did the experience. They tagged you. They put the stuff in there. They brought you back. Neighbors, you see two people stumbling in. You're like, oh, there's Bob again. He's drunk. And they helped you back into your thing. You went to your bed, and when you wake up, you're like, whoa, what happened? You've lost time. And
what's the purpose of that abducting?
Well, look,
random
if you
people
don't mind, share the screen. I just sent you. Craig.
And then as I'm doing that, so like, and that would be the purpose of that would be, the more you dilute it, the more you put people right here, the less likely you are to believe that one indicate of somebody that actually had proof, when you have tons of people doing the same thing, because then you could easily disprove it.
It goes against one of your principles. Is like, do you know how much work it would take to do that? We're talking about billions of people.
We got NASA that has a $60 million a day allowance on just advertising and marketing.
Are they adopting now?
That's it, NASA. So, but here's the CIA. The CIA, what this is that this is. I made a post on this. I read through all of the documents. You got to read it yourself. And I gave Craig the link. I don't know if he wants to put it up.
Yeah, I can put. I'd love to
put it up and share it. But this is the director of the CIA telling the director of Psychological Strategy Board to use UFOs as a psyop. And what it says, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to zoom it in for me. It says,
right?
Number one. Oh, this is.
It looks like up there 1952 or something like that on the page.
Let me see.
If I'm close.
Probably 1950s. But this goes back from 1950s. But we know that the person that built the actual UFO happened in the 1800s. So anyway, number one, it says, I am today transmitting to the National Security Council a proposal, tab A, I think that's what it says, in which it is concluded that the problems connected with unidentified flying objects appear to have implications for psychological warfare as well as for intelligence and operations. Number two, the background for this view is presented in some detail in tab B. So tab A explains it, tab B shows what's presented. 3, I suggest that we discuss at an early board meeting the possible offensive or defensive utilization of these phenomenon for psychological warfare purposes. Now, if you read through all of this, all these documents, because there's a lot there and people don't like to read. That's what I say all the time. People don't like to read. And it's the CIA.gov reading room. These stuff has been out there. You will find out all the stuff that they have played out to make it be psychological warfare on our minds. It's all about a battlefield of the mind. And they use this stuff, and we can implement MK Ultra in this. They use a lot of psychological words like UFO, abduction. It's all listed there. So when the news comes up and we have all this stuff going on and they use this, it's like trigger words for us that have watched the TV, especially baby boomers over these years, and you get sidetracked on what's really going on in the world. But honestly, I don't believe in UFOs. I believe it's government. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in aliens and what you might think that they are. And as closer to time as God or Jesus might be coming back, however you want to believe, I think that they're going to show themselves more, and they're going to try to present this big, huge Project Bluebeam and fake us all out.
Well, you'll truly know the answers once you pass from this earth to the next.
Yes,
that's when you're going to find out.
Yeah, and I shared that link it's on the Facebook thing in the show.
The Facebook. Hold on. Yeah, I think you got it. I sent you is that the link I sent?
The Adobe Acrobat link.
It says Facebook on there though.
Yeah, it's Facebook. It's from that Facebook. Then it has the long thing, but if you actually click it, it takes you to that PDF.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's just that's the. I can't share it on YouTube because there's too many characters. It goes beyond that, so it's like.
Yeah, I did. I tried to do the same thing. I mean, I could.
Yeah, it's like 300 and some characters.
Go to the CIA website. Just put in ghost if you want to. Go to the CIA web. Type in anything you want to in the search. If there's documents, there's going to be documents. Type in giants over there.
Because it makes it, like Bryan said, it's like why. The point would be, it's like for every. If anybody that's like the Smithsonian does it too. It's like anybody that actually has the stuff, the best way to ensure that that's never seen is by not only making that, not seem credible, is by making it all in general. It just makes it almost kind of a laughing stock. It's like if you can, like if Bryan actually sees, has evidence, it would be far easier to make him seem like a wacko than it would be to fight and go through all the details of showing why the video he has of a craft taking off and flying away, why that is fake, and he went through all these things. It'd be a lot easier to then, to just in general, just keep diluting the pool by just putting this stuff in just random people's minds, because eventually when you have enough people saying this thing, they're going to be, okay, is it likely that hundreds of thousands of people are being abducted, because I've asked that too. So the abductions, why, let's just take us. It's like as a species, this would be like at a certain point, we don't capture gorillas out in the wild anymore to do DNA test, and do all these tests. We have them in zoos, but at a certain point, you have the wild animals. We're not constantly going and abducting a cow out in the field. We don't. So you have like these cattle mutilations.
Cattle mutilations is all. But
yeah. At some point, why would the aliens have to keep coming after the cattle? At some point, why do they just take like saw off half the face? It's like at some point this doesn't,
how many people don't even know what Starlink is? How many posts did you see up on social media? UFOs.
The line of alien UFOs that are flying across. You're like, that would be the only alien that's doing that is what we just talked about. Elon has his little Starlink things are going across an arc.
Yeah, everybody. Like I had a friend literally last summer. And love his heart. I love him so much. He believes in UFOs and aliens. He's here locally. Sorry, somebody. I don't even know if I spelled Kool-Aid right. I'm drinking Kool-Aid. But he called me, panicked. He's like, you got to see what this is in the sky. You got to see what is in the sky. UFOs. They're attacking. And I said, send me a picture. So he gets on the phone and takes a picture. He sends it to me. It's freaking Starlink.
Right.
It's Starlink. Like nobody reads, nobody researches, nobody does anything. And do you see the news? If we want to go to news that people are putting like this is Starlink up. No, they want to play with our minds. I
mean, I being in the field, I've had only in the last couple of years two episodes of missing time.
I've had missing time twice. Too.
All my and these craft, I still have videos of them. You can listen to them. You can see them. Did I remember anything? No, I don't want to remember what they did to me. And if I have alien children, I always say it. I want their tax ID number so I can write them off of my taxes.
That's
right. But other than that, I'm glad I don't remember it, and I'm not looking to regress. I talked to a couple of people who I trust in this field that have been abducted numerous times, have been investigating this for years as well, and they even said, if you sleep well, do not get regress. You cannot undo that. Okay, but I do believe that we are being visited, and we have been visited for millions of years, well before we all came here whatsoever. But I also believe that everything's about control in this world.
But is it spiritual?
It's a spiritual warfare right now, and that's
but our lost time, is it spiritual? Is this lost time? It's not specifically aliens. Is this demonic or fallen angels? It's spiritual. Like
we don't know.
Lapse.
I don't.
Yeah, that's part we don't know.
I don't believe that extraterrestrials are demonic. I don't believe extraterrestrials are angels. I believe extraterrestrials are extraterrestrials. And I believe that if God wants you to have a spiritual experience, he's going to give it to you. Okay. And the reason why I say he, I'm not getting to he and she, but if God was a woman, we'd all be dressed better. That's right off the bat. Okay. So God doesn't play around. Demons do not play around. Angels do not play around. When people go in the house, oh, it's going crazy. It must be demonic.
Demons play. You got to guess what their name is and all that kind of stuff for a long time. They play.
When they get to you, they will drive you crazy. But 99% of the time, they are.
Well, they come in legions. They come in legions. Yeah. When you're cast out, they go out and then they come back sevenfold. You don't know who you're messing with. They play. They like to play games.
In general, but that's why I stay away from anything demonic because it's above my pay grade. But in general, I know that we have governments doing these abductions because they're mimicking exactly what they know is out there.
Well, because they got these freaking psychoelectric weapons. They got EMF that they're doing this stuff.
And they got this. They didn't invent it themselves. They got this from actual extraterrestrials. There have been agreements.
It's been here for years and years and years and years and decades.
Because it's one of those things too. It's like because a lot of people like the fallen angels stuff. The only thing I have with those things is whether or not that they were because we know that there's a physical thing, especially if you believe in the Bible as the literal thing, about the Nephilim.
Well, it depends on what Bible you're talking about.
So that would be, yeah, because you have, angels fell in love with man, like I said, they had offspring,
God and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so if but ancient cultures throughout they have the same story. The Dogon tribes, the Aborigines, they all have these same stories of star people that came down.
Pre-government.
Star people. Where the stars are. Lucifer was like the praise and worship leader.
Light bearer.
Okay, he sat on the side of the north. He sat on the side of the north. All right, and when he fell. When God cast him out and he fell, he took a third of the stars with him. If you go to the north of the world, all right, that third of the stars, there's no stars in the sky. None. You won't find it. Ever. He took a third of them with him. It's blank. It's fallen angels. These are fallen angels. These are ancient. Like these aren't just coming up in the 20th century or the 21st century or anything. These are things that's been here for a very, very long time, and they've regurgitated.
So why did it take them so long to actually do something?
It's not them doing anything. It's us as a humanity. We've turned our backs on God in the United States of America. We have the harbingers. We've had the harbinger seasons that's coming. We were one time very grounded.
Hey, Cisco.
I'm sorry, I don't see anything. We were one time very grounded. And honestly, what they have no time. We're the ones that produce time. They have no time. Right. So for us to sit and put a timeline on it is ridiculous because they have no time. What's 1,000 days to 1 day to 1 day to 1,000 years? Like it doesn't matter. We're the ones that put the time on it. So,
I understand that, but my whole point is, so let's break it down. God says you got to not worship, but you take care of these. These are my children. And Lucifer's like, F you. I'm not doing it.
God didn't say that to Lucifer.
You're monkeys. I'm not going to be bothered with these.
He never said that to Lucifer.
He says,
where did you get that
from? The angels must watch over his children and be there for his children.
He never said that.
You've got me going down a rabbit hole.
Oh, we're going to go down a rabbit hole?
He never said that. Lucifer was the praise and worship leader in the heavenlies. All right, we got 9 choirs of angels, and this goes way farther than this show, so I don't want to go into that. But we got 9 choirs of angels. There's one instrument that Lucifer can't ever have, and that's the shofar. That's the trumpet, which is what we're going to hear. But the thing is God never said that to Lucifer.
God created man in his image and put him on the earth.
He gave Lucifer dominion of this earth. We have a right to choose. That's the free will and all this stuff.
That. Why was he cast out of heaven then?
Because he believed he was above God, because he did sit above God, and he was the praise and worship leader on the right side of the north. And that's why I think that there's not free will in heaven, because I believe that you have a right to pick and choose in heaven, because Lucifer himself picked. And he said, hey, I'm above God already. I'm up above him, and I'm the praise and worship leader. Look how many praise and worship leaders across the nation and churches that have narcissistic personality disorder. Look at that. And then he's like, nope, you're not going to do this. And he cast them out, and he gave the angels in heaven the right to choose which way you want to go. You want to go with him? Go with him. You're casted out too. And this is where the fallen angels and the grays and all this kind of stuff comes in to play. In my opinion, I'm not always right, but I've done a lot of research, and I had a great awakening in 2020 when it comes to Bible stuff. I got 1811 Bible. The King James is 1611, but I got 1811. I would never trust a Bible. I'll tell you this. I will never trust a Bible that's printed from 1930 and up. Never, ever, ever.
And And in general, where in this does the Old Testament lie?
What are you talking about? What do you mean by that?
Well, you're taking the word, right? But the word had to come from something. So all of this
Well,
came.
Old Testament, New Testament, the whole Bible. What do you mean?
The Old Testament, which is where everything was written to begin with, all the books.
New Testament's there too.
The New Testament is added on top of the Old Testament.
It's all there though, from the 1600s. What are you talking about?
From the 1600s.
From the 1600s? I'm talking about from the
my Gnostic wants to jump out.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say written. I'm going to say written. Well, in 1600s, when I say that, interpreted 1600s. It lacked. It came way before that. But I already know who King James is. People don't research King James. Shakespeare has a lot of stuff to do with this crap too. And King James is a totally other different topic also, and in his background and where he came from and how he came from. But I'm going to tell you this. I got a Bible in 2019 at a yard sale that for $45 that was from 1811. And in my heart of hearts said, buy that Bible. And I went around. We have this big, huge yard sale thing down Route 60 in Kentucky for that day. And it's like every house has a yard sale. It's a huge thing in Kentucky. And I went around, and in my spirit, it's like, buy that Bible, buy that Bible. So I bought the Bible. And it sat on my shelf behind me. It's not here. My dad has it actually right now. But for a year, in 2020, when we did all the lockdowns and stuff, something told me to open. She needs another show.
That means you got to come back.
I know. But in 2020, I literally the Holy Spirit was telling me, open that Bible. Like I have so much, and I've been calling out people on my Facebook page and tagging them in it. All these ministers I used to follow. Like I had a huge awakening in 2020 from the stuff from that 1811 Bible. They've taken out so much stuff. Even the Catholic Church before then even took out stuff. It talks about the giants. It talks about all kinds of stuff. I don't believe in tithing with the money. I don't believe in a rapture anymore. Like there's a lot. And I'm sorry that this is going on.
No. So you're starting to dip your toes. What you're saying right there into why I start having a lot of doubts about the thing, because it started with the Council of Nicaea. AD 325. This is one of the things they took out what they called the the apocryphal. Oh yeah, we don't want to bring him up.
Well, take EL God, EL God, lowercase EL, reverse it and then look up JO and find out what that says.
So the whole point is that, this is important because if you can break down these books and you can find fault in them, which we're going to, because there's a lot of it is interpretation of words it's all verbal or written, unless you get into the Dead Scrolls, and we're not going to go into that. And then you got the connection to, other cultures, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and, so everything becomes suspect at this point.
Book of Enoch was actually involved in the Bible.
Yes.
They took it out. Catholic Church took out 18 or 19 books.
23.
23 total?
Mm-hmm. And
okay,
a lot of them, and some of the ones that they took out were firsthand accounting that didn't agree with the ones that are in the books that are currently in the Bible.
I'm going to just put a little thing in here. This was the Roman Catholics that hung Jesus to the cross, right? So they're super jealous of Jesus, the Messiah, and all this kind of stuff.
The Romans were, not the Roman Catholics.
No, it was Roman Catholics.
Catholicism didn't start until after Jesus.
Well, they followed.
That's where it was. It was literally the paganistic, Rome, what they would call the pagans.
Roman Catholics. That's why they removed these books. All right. So
yeah,
Romans. So the bloodline, because we're dealing with bloodlines here. So we got, and I'm going to just tell you, Kanye wasn't wrong. He's not anti-Semitic. We got a counterfeit of a Jewish bloodline, European Jewish bloodline, and then the bloodline of Jacob or Jesus or however you want to say it. But it's the Romans that hung Jesus to the cross. So the Antichrist would come from the Roman Catholic Church, in my opinion. And who is the Catholic priest at this moment in time? He is the first Jesuit priest that they've ever had, and he is the king of Vatican. Everybody's like the Catholic, the Antichrist has to be a king. He is the king of Vatican, and he overrules every power that there is to be. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this: there was a time in the Bible, as it says, the Antichrist will disappear for a while. Right? He'll be sick, he'll disappear. And he says when he's made whole, he'll come out new. Well, the Catholic priest, this guy, I can't remember his name right now. I'll tell you his name. I should, because he has a 7-year plan called the Lato Si, and everybody needs to go read it. Go read the Lato Si 7-year plan. And he went away for a while. He came back in 2020 in a live interview I was watching here on my computer right here in front of you. And he says, I was sick for a time, but I've been made whole. And that's the exact same scripture that was put in my 1811 Bible. It says the Antichrist says, I will be made whole. The Daikon that he wears on his head, research that. Go down that rabbit hole of the Daikon.
Sun worship.
How it comes from the water.
Yep. And
see, you mentioned Kanye and you froze. See, I knew, I knew that was gonna.
Freeze?
Yeah, I knew that as soon as you said the Kanye and the Jewish.
They, all of that?
Yep, well, not all of it. No, it's just like part of it. Right at the end, you're just like, whoop. I'm like, yep, right there.
You know what?
Kanye,
7 Hail Marys and 6
not anti-Semitic. Kanye is not anti-Semitic. He's
we got that part, but as soon as you it's like after at the end.
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
it's the Pope. The Pope.
Well, I mean, and then if you want to get into from what she's saying, you go into the quatrains. Nostradamus even said after Pope John Paul that was the last pope before the anti-pope comes, and the current guy is the anti-pope.
Go look up the funding of the Third Temple. You know who funds the Third Temple that's being built?
A lot of the Vatican.
Vatican.
Right. Well, Vatican. The Vatican in cooperation with the Messianic Jews and ultra Orthodox, because they want back to the Masons every time. They want the Messiah to come back. But what people don't understand is
Messiah has already been here.
Well,
they don't claim.
No, they're waiting for his return. So if Jesus died for your sins the first time, okay, I'm going to tell you this straight up. When he comes back, he is going to be pissed.
Oh, he's coming. He's even saying that people won't even really recognize him. But you got to understand, he's the only man that went to the heavens in his flesh and blood, right?
Yep.
And he was cast out. He's coming back in the glory of God, but we won't recognize him because he's going to be coming in. He's coming back on a horse. When he first entered Jerusalem, he went on a lamb, which was peace. Right. The second time he comes back in, he's coming in on a horse,
warrior,
war horse. And I'm just going to say this really quickly too. With all this that's coming about, is that oh my gosh, this goes to Yahweh. Yahweh is not what people think Yahweh is. Does that make sense when I say that? It's not God Most High. Yahweh is not God Most High.
I've got a few books that that kind of talk about that. There's a good chance, Brian's point that might be extraterrestrial.
No, something that's very interesting, and I pay attention to everything religious based because there's so much deception by evil in this world. It's so much.
Yes.
But something that's very interesting. If you understand when the Messiah comes back, he's going to come down off the Mountain of Olives, and he's going to go through, I believe it's the East Gate.
East Gate.
Okay. Here's the thing. This is, it gives me goosebumps when I started hearing it. On that portion of the East Gate of the Western Wall, This happened last year. In the middle of the wall, ivy started growing. No one put it there.
Yeah, all that.
There's 4 letters that is the true word name of God.
Yeshua.
And 3 of them have appeared. And everybody's waiting for the 4th. If you want a sign that God's coming, you're gonna get it.
I'm going to tell you this about Yahweh really quickly. Yahweh in Hebrew is actually on the divination star, and it's actually on the plaque in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem ended up wiping away the name of Yahweh because they said it was too popular, or Yeshua. They said it was too powerful, and they replaced it with Yahweh. Well, we got Isaiah 14 saying that Lucifer wanted to be like the guy to illuminate, to be like God, and all this stuff. I honestly believe Yahweh of the Old Testament that dealt with the Tower of Babel, because the God I serve does not divide, does not cause confusion, does not kill children. The Yahweh of the Old Testament is actually Lucifer in disguise, pretending to be God Most High, Yeshua. Yep. And that I did not get this in Bible college, everybody. I got this out of the 1811 Bible. Okay. Like I had a huge manifestation, Great Awakening in 2020. Great Awakening.
I'd love to just show you a picture of it, but I
can't believe we're talking about this, everybody. We're talking about aliens.
No,
I know it happens. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, seriously, welcome to the show.
We start here and we end up somewhere.
Just curious.
And also too, I'll just tell you this: they have a Messiah in Jerusalem too. You got to look up Jerusalem news. Jezua ben.
I'm waiting for it to show up.
David.
Gotta wait for your dial-up.
All they're waiting for is one last letter, and it's the hey again.
Yeah, we're waiting for your dial-up internet to show up.
Yeah, that's it.
My dial-up internet. Yeah, I'm getting that fixed. Okay. Rambo. Has it shown up now?
Yep, it's right there.
Okay, so they're waiting.
WHYH. That's Yahweh still too. That's kind of interesting with that. Then what I'm just talking about.
But
you know what's in the middle of the triangle, the Masonic Lodge triangle? Is YHWH. It's Yahweh.
It's
it's Yahweh.
That's a notification Bryan gets when the picture shows up. Picture up.
You've got mail.
Yahweh.
You've got mail.
Yeah.
It's Yeshua. It needs to be Yeshua, but
it's Yeshua. Yeshua. But that's it. If that appears, it's big. It's really, really big. And on top of that, just recently, when people were praying at the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall, a serpent came out of the wall.
Let me tell you my time-lapse experience.
Yeah, go for it.
And we've gone way over. I'm so sorry, Craig.
We're gonna. Oh no, you're fine. I'm just gonna say one thing. We're probably gonna find out that there's some rabbi up there spreading like chia seeds in those spots that with a little putty knife to sit there, and everybody's like all of a sudden like, oh my god, it's in the form of the letter. It's like he's up there. Ha. It's like it's the Israeli crop circles. Somebody's up there.
Crop circles. We know that's laser technology.
Israeli crop circles. They come by and they make signs, but you have to eat something. Have a nush.
The Israeli Yahweh, Yahweh thing. They're up there just doing all these things. And you're like, oh my God, it looks like a dreidel. Oh,
it's a QR code.
We're getting in trouble now.
Scan the QR code.
There's 3 red calves, King. There's 3 red calves that are available.
Red heifers. Well, the 12th one is available right now too. And if you look up 12 apostles, all that kind of stuff. Or 12.
It wasn't serpent at all. It was just bacterial growth from all the kissing events.
Now here's a
oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we're in so much trouble.
We're gonna get into a lot of trouble with this. But something very important, and if you follow all these signs and stuff, there are certain mile markers that have to be met.
Oh, yeah, we got one coming. We had one coming up the 18th, 2 days ago.
No, I'm talking about if we see the Israel invaded from the north by the Northern Alliance, which would be Iran and Russia and Libya, not Libya, Syria.
Oh, we want to go to Gog and Magog, and that's a whole other topic.
Well, you're gonna, yeah, we're not gonna get into that. It's just too long.
I want
that would have to be the next show.
My time lapse thing, and I'll
yes,
end on this tonight. What I thought was 5 minutes was 2.5 hours. Okay, and this was I was 17 years old, and this was July 27th of 1997 at church camp. And I passed out in the spirit, is what you would want to call it. And what was I thought was 5 minutes was 2.5 hours. And what happened during this time is that, and I don't share this a whole lot. So I pass out. Somebody was praying for me. I remember that. And I just felt like I needed to go to sleep or something. I passed out. This happened to me twice in my life. And I'll talk about the other time, the next time, if you all have me back on. But I passed out, and it's like one of those near-death experiences where people talk about that they go to a tunnel, they see this tunnel, and they're walking to this tunnel. So I see this tunnel, and there's a bright light, huge light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm like, I feel like I'm walking towards it. And then all of a sudden I freeze. I'm like, and in my mind, I'll never forget this. I still feel it to this day. Like, this tunnel's coming to me. I'm not going to it. It's coming to me. He comes and comes and comes and comes to me. And it's so bright. I don't see his face, but I see his body. And I see, like, I kept telling people way back before then, like, he was crucified through his wrist. It wasn't his palm. It was his wrist. And people were, like, making fun of me over it. This was back in I'm like, no, I've seen this. And I saw his feet. And I knew it was Jesus, and he stepped inside of me. And when he stepped inside of me, my breath, like I couldn't catch my breath, and I was sucked up into the air, and I was looking back down on myself, and my whole body was outlined in like this gold yellow. And then I was brought back. And when I was brought back, I'm Pentecostal, I guess. I call myself Pentecostal because when I woke up, I was speaking in tongues and everything, and it was real to me. And what I thought was 5 minutes was 2.5 hours. And like, it changed me so much within 24 hours. My brother, which me and him are like 16 months apart, the next day at church camp, I see him over and he was crying. He's like, I can tell there's such a difference. I just want what you got. I said, I don't know how to do it. Let me get Pastor Chuck. and my brother had a totally different experience, but like I've had 2 experiences with this, and this was the first time. And really, honestly, what I thought was 5 minutes was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's kind of hard to describe, but that's what happens. A lot of people have kind of experiences. I'm not saying they're going to have that interaction or the convergence with Jesus or whoever their spiritual leader is, but when people sleep at night, that's when you can get all the distractions out, and you're actually at rest where you vibrate or move at a higher frequency, and you connect to God and the source and the information. And that's when people, I always tell people there's a difference between having a dream and having an experience.
Oh, I've had dreams, I can tell you.
Yeah, dreams like, Emily I think she was there, and she may have been riding a trike, and then Craig had some kind of eclair. And when you're like this, or when you go into detail,
kissing this lady with buns on the side, yeah,
and a big Adam's apple. When you go you can go into details, and you can say Emily was there. She's wearing a blue shirt. It said possum belly on it, and she had the headphones on, and we were talking about X, Y, and Z. And you can see all the details of the curtain. When you get that detail, you're not dreaming that. You're seeing it. You're there. You're experiencing it. And 9 out of 10 times when that happens, you're going to wake up so tired, like you've been up all night, because you have been up all night. I had something similar to that, and I've had several of them. And in one of them, it was in Middle Eastern. I heard some noise at night. I see the huts, the houses made out of clay. I see the light, And I'm like, I hear two guys yelling and water, and I'm like, tell us. And I'm like, what the hell is going on there? I crossed over this alleyway and I went into this room. Now, the way the room is designed is there's an opening where I'm facing right there. There's a platform, then the one step down, it opens into the room, but you can go to the other side, go up a platform, and then go out. It goes to the right. But in the room itself is to the right of me, the bulk of it. And I see the light, this fire sticks. And as I get to the doorway, I see resting on the wall is I'm resting on the floor is what looks like a sword. Not a sword, but a spear. And no, it's a spear. And it's on the floor, like you put it against the wall and it rolled down and it laid on the floor. And right next to me at the entrance is a spear, same size, with the spear at the end of it. And it's standing there. And I kind of peek in and I see these two Roman soldiers drowning somebody or waterboarding them in a huge clay like pot, like a bath. And it's probably about...
It's a bathhouse. It's Jeffrey Epstein.
It wasn't Jeffrey. This was before Jeffrey Epstein. About 4 feet.
It was a vision.
And they're tell us, and they're taking this person and they lift him out. You can hear the, whatever the grass area, and they put him back down again. And I knew this was wrong. This was like so wrong. I was driven. I grabbed the spear and I stabbed one of them. I said, "This is wrong." Turned to the other guy. He ran out, and I'm just like, "This is wrong. This can't happen. This is wrong. What are you doing?" I go back to the tub and lying on, faced in the water with the hair out. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I grab the person, I bring them up, and all the water sprays. I get wet, and I hear the right. And then the next thing you know, staring at me with these eyes and saying thank you is Jesus.
When's your birthday?
I'm July 4th. And he literally is looking at me as a child would look at somebody, like when they're not feeling well. There's these eyes. I said, this was wrong. And that's how it ended. And I got, that was it. He was in the tub. So I will never forget that. Now, the Jesus that I saw in there isn't like the Jesus you keep on saying. He is more, I want to say, Middle Easternish, darker skin, still has the beard, still has it, but
he's dark skinned.
Not the same as what they
He's not. Well, they whitewash Jesus. They whitewash.
Yeah. No, ain't
no,
white. This is a very, very tan individual.
Is July 4th a water sign?
July 4th is a moon sign. It's Cancer.
Is it Cancer? Cancer's a water sign. Okay, go ahead. I'm Pisces.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff goes on with water signs and the connection, spirituality, and Jesus. 100%. And I'm not talking about astrology. I'm talking about astronomy. Everybody that's listening.
Yeah, no, we're switching gears, but this is how
Well, it makes a lot of
Micah,
sense.
if you're listening, get on.
It makes a lot of sense because I've interviewed a lot of people through my show over the years, and the people that have the most detailed experiences, and I'm not shutting this out to any other sign that might be, it's typically water signs.
Yeah, I mean,
in the Holy Spirit, the blue, the water, all that kind of stuff. Like there's Craig, both of you all later on, you have other people on. Ask them if they're water sign. Ask them when their birthday is.
It's very 70s, Craig. Ask them.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's like, welcome to the show. What's your sign? Wait,
I love it.
What's your sign? U-turn.
But I'm 80s. I'm 1981. What about us Capricorns? Capricorns, I will not date a Capricorn.
That's
the thing. Emily is known for. And she'll give you a nice list If you do this and this, I will not date you.
I will not date Capricorns, Geminis, or Scorpios.
What if that's the one?
No, it won't be.
I tell Chassie that all the time. She's like, nope, I won't date a Libra. I'm like, I'm telling you.
My son's a Libra. We have a really great relationship. I've never dated a Libra, but give my son a few more years and let's see how that goes. If mom and son can have a good relationship through his teenage years, then I would date a Libra.
Scorpios are the ones you got to watch out for.
Scorpios. Oh, no. Scorpios, Geminis, and Capricorns. No.
Gemini's definitely because of the
Taurus
twins.
is good.
And yeah, there's a couple different ones.
Taurus is good. They're good with money. I'm a Libra. Don't know what that means. Well, I don't really know what it means either. I just know my son's a Libra.
Like Chassie. She's the thing. It's just something about Libra. She just doesn't get along because I'm a Libra too. I'm, October 6th is my birthday, so it's like I'm a Libra, but it's just I don't know if anybody's noticed. I like to pros and cons. I said I'm not one that just jumps and think. I like to wait out. It's just like, okay, here's the thing, but what about this?
You kind of can't make a decision too quickly with a Libra.
No.
Aquarius is good too, by the way, Ron. I don't know. My dad's a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. And he married my mom. She's Aquarius, and they've been married for 42 years. So that's right.
Well, Aquarius.
What about Capricorns and money? I don't know about Capricorns and money, but the two Capricorns guys that I've went out with, they didn't like to spend money.
Yeah, we've gone from, we talked about Peruvian mummy to aliens to to Bible talk, and now we're dial 1-800 ask Emily for your horoscope.
What do me now?
So we just need to, so now we've morphed Emily into a Miss Cleo. So now
so basically we're gonna have to have you come back. So I don't know when you're available, but come back.
I'll do it anytime, whatever.
Yeah. No, see, it's one of those things. Yeah. These type of shows fully embrace my ADD. I'm just
they're all look a bird.
Yeah, I mean it's a squirrel. I'm off. Shiny object. Where? Okay, and then I'm gone. Yeah, it's. Yeah, no. If this is a test, MA, I fail every time. I said, how long can Craig keep himself, on topic for this thing? And it's like.
So what's our conclusion for tonight?
What's our what?
Conclusion for tonight?
The world's really
that the Peruvian mummy is most likely, a suspect at best, artifact.
Soylent Green.
Yeah. Let's see that. What nobody really knows if Jesus was real or an alien. And I said we take it upon faith.
Hybrid. He's definitely a hybrid.
Yeah, and so I said it's and that there's whether or not we so there's a lot of the takeaways from this.
There's way too much on this table.
Like as Reading Rainbow says, if you want to know more, you need to buy the book.
If you're a Baptist, I will not date you.
If you're Baptist, I will not date you.
I will not date
you. Well, yes, but you can't because you don't believe in the rapture. No, you can't date a Baptist.
And just tell them that Jesus is a hybrid and they freak out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. King. Yeah, you said no, she had patience. Yeah, in some aspects, my son brings this out in me. It like nothing else. I'm just, there's just something about it. It's one of those, like I told him, I
have daughters, and you ain't seen nothing yet.
I've got this, I've got this thing, and I'm really trying. I'm trying to remember the show that it came from because I want to give them credit. But it's one of those things. And I learned this thing, and I actually really like this. It's one because, like I try to tell them all the time. There's a thing. This is my expectation of you. I don't see you down here. I see you right here. I just need you to do this.
Yeah, me.
Because I know you're here. I go. So when I'm getting after you, it's not because I think you're an idiot. It's not because I'm, it's because I have these standards, and I want you to. I told him I don't care. I don't care if you're an assistant manager at a McDonald's, if you own a car wash. I go, if you're a welder, I go, I don't care what it is. I just want you to be a good person. Be a good person out there. Be the man that you can be. That's all I want. I go, and I will be proud for you till the day I die. That's all I want. I go, so when I'm yelling, it's because you're achieving this when I know you should be here. That's it. I don't think you're worthless and you're way down here below. I'm like, no, you're right there. That's all you got to do.
Have daughters.
Yeah. And no, there's somebody that's just like that one. I mean, I would just but then other aspects, I'm like, hey, I'm all laid back. But then my son, it's like, Chase, I'm just going nuts. Come in the house, boy, get down here. But I mess with them.
Like, you know what they did today? Oh crap!
Yeah, I've told you that. That's one of the things I do to my cycle. It's like psychological warfare. I'll go in there. I'll just burst through the door without him knowing it. Scares. Yeah. Well, I just have one. I just have Chase. So I go flying through the door.
I don't have any of his problems yet, but he's going to be 14 in October.
He's 16. So I go flying through the door. He's like, ah! I'm like, you want to explain to me why you thought I wouldn't find out about that? What happened at school? He's like, what?
Mom,
what? I'm like, no.
He knows Mom will find out on that.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to tell me why, why you thought you could get away with this? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm not talking, nothing happened. I just wanted to see how your day was. I leave. I don't like, it just plays.
Dad of the year. Dad of the year. Yeah, we
did
that.
Mind games.
We bought a huge witch the other day at Home Depot for the Halloween thing.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's got to be 7 feet tall. And we put it, it's animated. So when you walk in and you walk in front of it, like, what's going on? Whatever. And my youngest comes home and is like, let's videotape this. And I walk and I'm videotaping the door. My wife's there and there's the witch and we're waiting for her to come. We heard the garage open. We're like, I'm just on the video. You hear me, Mom and Dad of the year. This is why we won the big prize. And she came in and she goes, oh, what's that? And then she goes, oh, it was pretty scary. And as soon as you walked over to it, started up and she was like this. She ran back and then she started cursing at it. You come fucker. And it was just great. Let's do this all the time.
You know what I've always wanted to do? Maybe I should do that. Work at one of them spirit Halloween shops during this time just to watch the people walk past the automatic.
Oh yeah, no, that's I go if that was one of the things, like I was just looking for something. Oh yeah, I definitely work. I do that part time during the Spirit Halloween store. Oh,
that would be so much fun.
I could blow lottery winnings in that store.
Yes, between that and Star Wars, I'm separate. Do you have the refrigerator with Han Solo actually embedded on the inside?
Yes,
you do.
You do. You have that on the outside of the refrigerator?
Yeah, it's I actually
no
do.
Way.
Here, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, hold on a second.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
He's kidding. Oh. He said yes. He's kidding.
Oh, no. Because I love that refrigerator. I love a refrigerator.
He's picking up the refrigerator and bringing it.
He's going to take the whole thing.
What is this?
No, it probably is a cover that goes on top of it.
Oh, he has a cover.
Let me tell you something. That's, this is awesome. If he has this, it's probably huge. I don't want him to ruin it.
I've never seen this. I have never seen this before. So.
Oh Lord. No. They make a refrigerator door that has the full size of the door.
Is that a mini fridge? That's a mini fridge?
Oh, it's a mini fridge?
Oh, it's a mini fridge.
That is awesome.
I still like it.
That is so awesome. I can't see. Julie, I can't see. Sorry.
Are you kidding? Do I have that fridge?
No, they literally, I've seen it. They make a door for the front of a big fridge.
Oh yeah, no, you can get that. No, I was just saying that's actually like the little mini one for up here. I'm like, oh yeah, I got that one.
I mean, because if you had that on the real fridge, your wife's a keeper. I mean, I wouldn't complain.
I probably.
We need to do a GoFundMe for Craig right now for Christmas.
Yes.
Oh God! All right, I'm gonna make everybody dizzy here. Right.
Only joking. Oh my God.
That's all Star Wars stuff.
And that's his son's college.
I thought that my ex-boyfriend was bad. He wasn't that bad.
Yeah, see, those are Star Wars figures on the wall.
That's crazy.
There's
I love it, though.
figurines, collection plates. You can't really see, but up on the very top, right up there, we actually have official copies of the movie script.
Good for
from the
you.
movies.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's we've got replica lightsabers, and if we really get nerd, we got
one of those people that go out at nighttime and do lightsaber wars down at the park.
I just
I think you sent me that video. He goes, I really think this is how you introduce yourself to your neighbors. I'm like, oh, dude, I would all be for it. It's like,
we
you know,
have
you go
a group of those people here in my town.
Yeah, we've got several, you know, so I did a show with Chris Deems from Country Boy Cryptids. I showed him Count Dooku's lightsaber. I've got, you know, I said Luke's. I said we've got these replica ones. We got them for my son, and I said got the same thing. Like, you know, I think he's going to get Count Dooku's, but yeah, they're awesome. I mean, they're $200.
So now when his son can't go to college because they have no money, he's going to be like, well, son, you know, it was either Star Wars or your college. So
that's what I say about longer burger baskets.
Yeah, which one did I working one or reprint? No, it was a reprint of the official script. So trust me. If I had a copy of the original script, I wouldn't have turned the camera around to show you where it was at.
Well, shoot, how much would that be?
That would be a good way to make sure that you're broken into.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
do that.
That one's, you know, that one is literally on the, you know, very few people actually have one of those.
I'm literally I have 2 kids, and when it comes time to college, and you know, I'm just gonna put them in a room with a knife and go. Only one of you can go. Figure it out.
I'm not even promoting college. I got suckered into all that.
I don't think college is actually necessary.
Trade school. Go to trade school.
Yeah.
Learn to. I can see Bryan right now. It's going to be like the Joker, you know, Heath Ledger's Joker. He's going to have the 2 daughters there in the room. He's like, one of you is going to go to college, and we're going to have tryouts. Snap the pool thing. It's like, make it fast. Yeah, we're gonna have tryouts.
My son, I'm telling him to be a firefighter, electrician, CDL, even a CDL driver. I haven't even thought about getting my CDL license myself.
There are tons of CDL jobs right now, and they're paying.
Get your CDL. You're going to start tomorrow.
I'm hiring a recruiting person. That's what I do for a living. I hire, interview, recruit people. I'm telling everybody right now, do not fall for the college woke scam. I fell for it. I have 3 bachelor's degrees, 2 masters, and don't be me. I tell my son, don't be me. And I'm hoping he'll be a firefighter.
That's exactly it, Nick.
I'm hoping he'll be a firefighter because that runs on my mom's side of the family. My cousin's chief here in our town and stuff. So I'm hoping that's the way he'll go.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he does, I mean, right there, you got your cousin's a chief. He's already got an in.
Oh yeah, well, I got 5-6 cousins on.
That's a weird mustache, you know.
Yeah, well, it'd be like Austin. You'll end up with the porn stash where I don't.
I love how Nikola Tesla's chiming in here too.
Oh yeah, no, it's all right. Well, we better wrap this up. We're at 2 hours. I gotta.
Sorry.
Bedtime comes quick for this man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we gotta get there. But no, so Emily, talk about your show. Let everybody know where to see you.
What the Frick Live on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on 107.7 FM New Orleans, but we simulcast on all kinds of social media platforms. I'm heavily shadow banned. You can follow me on Facebook and stuff, but I always encourage everybody to go to Rumble and just look up WTFrick, which is up here on my name. If you see it, What the Frick Live, go over to Rumble if you want to watch it. I lost everything in 2021. I had almost 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, 60,000 views per show on Facebook, 800,000 followers on TikTok, but I got cancel cultured. So I started over, and I only really promote. I use my YouTube here in chat. I don't really promote it, but I do promote Rumble, but obviously on all podcast platforms and the radio, so I don't get shadow banned.
Yeah, can you put the link in the chat? Allen was
for Rumble.
Yeah, for Rumble, and I think probably YouTube too, just in case, so that way they know.
Well,
yeah, if somebody has a Rumble site, definitely start using it because YouTube is really cutting back on people. So we may be having to figure out how to get everybody over to Rumble.
Almost 5 years of stuff on YouTube. Almost 10,000 subscribers was getting paid. And I typed in a comment. It says this comment has failed to post, is what it says.
Yeah, they don't.
I lost everything. I lost everything. And Rumble does not shadow ban people. You don't get like
Here,
go to Rumble.
Put it in the private chat here on the thing. Type it into the private chat and I'll share it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it was not, because then I can copy it from that way, or you could message it to me either way, and I'll copy it out there. Because Rumble's a little clunky in operating it, but that unfortunately that is because they had to avoid any appearance of copying YouTube. So a few things that
Rumble's also getting ready to come out to be like a TikTok with all the short videos and all that stuff you can post on there. I'm really excited for that. That's supposed to come out in 2024.
Right. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm on YouTube. If people watched or saw my comments in the show tonight, you can follow me on there. I don't.
There you go. It's up there.
Okay, yeah. I don't market it or anything, but you can follow over there.
Yeah, see, it just popped up with a link right here.
I have give her follows, give her whatever, give her love.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. This Friday, I have Dave Edmonds coming on for part 2.
Yep, that showed up in the link too.
Yep.
Part 2 for Dave Edmonds on the aliens and angels connection. This Friday.
Whoa.
Yep. So So we got all that. So Bryan put up there too. Okay, perfect.
Oh, you got Michigan Rob up there too. My buddy Michigan Rob. Cool.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Rob. Yeah. Bigfoot.
Yeah, I probably know like 99% of the people that have been on the show.
Maybe, possibly. I mean, I've been around for 5 years. I took a year off after I got hit pretty big, but we started back up June of 2022, and it's doing well. So
that's one of those things, like they gotta wait, but it's just like anything. Like when Samsung does a thing, Apple goes after them for infringement. It's the same way. That's why Rumble had to do things a little differently. So if you go from YouTube immediately and you go to Rumble, it takes you a little bit to figure out how to do it, because it's just it's different. And so it's not, it's like, even like posting stuff, it's a little harder to post a video. It's, than like YouTube, it's like, boom, I have it right up here. It's this one. There's just little things like you got to get used to the way they do it, because it's just, you can't copy. And so I said, so when you get it, you'll see the experience. It's like, you can't just do like the likes, it's a Rumble, and things are a little different.
Nice. They do something.
But yeah, see, like, I said the same thing. The interface is a tad annoying. It's unfortunately, it's by design. Like I said, it's that whole thing. It's to keep them from being accused of copying YouTube. That's the main reason for it. So if you can get past that and learn it, it's a great experience, because once again, you don't have to worry about stuff being censored right away, and that's why a lot of people go there.
Going live on Rumble is a little tedious too, because you can't. Go live, you have to post like an intro video, but you can't post an intro video until like 24 hours before you're live. So there's just a little bit there, but honestly, it's been worth it, and the show's been growing over there. With me, I very rarely market it. I've been marketing podcasts more than anything, all the podcast links. So,
yeah, every time I try to upload the show to Rumble, it crashes my Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, I go live on Rumble. I don't ever upload.
Every time, it's like I go to upload the video later, and it just, my Wi-Fi just shuts down. And it's like, all of a sudden I'll hear my son, and they're playing a game. Because I crash the internet every time. And I'm like,
And I'll tell you this with Rumble. Like, I average about 300 to 400 live viewers on there, and
nice.
then I can also embed Rumble to my website, and on my website I have about 700 to 1,200. Like, that's a big, but depends. Friday nights, because Friday night football it declines, but I have about that on my live on my website too. So I like Rumble because I can embed it. It's nice.
Yeah, there's a couple of good video vehicles, but it's just until they figure out a way to integrate with like these streaming things. I mean, I got to be honest. If we could stream to Rumble, they're offering also, monetary return.
You don't have to have so many subscribers. I already get paid for Rumble. I get paid about $40 a month for Rumble, and I don't have that very many views.
And that's why, what's going to happen is I'm going to see people start moving over there. So
Odyssey too is another. Odyssey is another platform too that I post every once in a while to it, but
they're a pain in the ass supposed to.
They are, but that you also get paid for it as well, not based on subscribers.
Right. So Craig, you should take this video, take all your videos and slowly upload them to Odyssey and Rumble and get paid. But it also
that's what
you can do this live on Rumble.
Yeah, interfacing it is a pain in the ass. You got to get the got the name of the code, but
there's my website. I need to update it. Sorry, y'all, but that's Steve Kelly. It's June 16th. I haven't updated it since June 16th.
Yeah, so I was just been meaning to show that. So sorry, I waited till now. But anyway, so Emily, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Go to ERT Radio, sponsor of this program. Yeah, so clap.
Sorry about the
so we'll reach out. Like I said, we'll do a part 2.
Yes.
But yes. All right. So everybody, like I said, take care. Thank you again for such short notice coming on. That was really appreciate it. Everybody really enjoyed having you on too.
Because it could have been very interesting with some of the people we were looking into.
Oh yeah, no, it's you never know. All right, so we're gonna do a quick outro here with a lightning. So all right, everybody, we will see you next week. And like I said, so we've got Katie Turner coming on next Wednesday. Yeah, so that's gonna be so that'll be we'll be talking a little paranormal with her. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So all right, everybody, have a good night. We will see you next time. Good night.